Have you ever wondered what airlines and flight crews keep hidden from passengers? From secret rules to behind-the-scenes tricks, there's a lot that happens on a plane that you never hear about. In this video, we're revealing some of the most surprising flight secrets that are never told to passengers. Things that could change the way you travel forever. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on more fascinating travel insights. Now, let's uncover these hidden flight secrets. Number 1. The pilot's secret rest breaks. Most passengers assume that pilots stay awake and alert for the entire flight, but in reality, many pilots take naps while in the cockpit, especially on long-haul flights. This practice is called controlled rest, and it's actually approved by aviation authorities to help pilots stay refreshed. On longer flights, airlines even provide hidden sleeping quarters for pilots, usually located above the passenger cabin or near the cockpit. These rooms are equipped with beds, blankets, and dim lighting to help them get proper rest. Some flights also have a backup pilot or first officer who takes over while the main pilot rests. But here's the shocking part. Some pilots have admitted that they've woken up to find their co-pilot sleeping too. That's why autopilot is so crucial, but it also raises questions about how alert pilots really are during flights. Number 2. The oxygen masks have a short lifespan. In the event of an emergency, oxygen masks drop down from the ceiling to help passengers breathe. But did you know that these masks only provide about 12 to 15 minutes of oxygen? This might sound alarming, but here's the reason. That's usually enough time for the plane to descend to a safe altitude where you can breathe normally again. Commercial aircraft fly at altitudes where the air is too thin to support human life. So, in case of cabin depressurization, the plane will quickly drop down to about 10,000 feet, an altitude where oxygen levels are sufficient. Many passengers panic when masks drop, but the real danger comes if you don't put it on fast enough. At high altitudes, you can lose consciousness in just 20 to 30 seconds due to lack of oxygen. That's why flight attendants always say, put your own mask on before helping others. Number 3. Airplane water might not be safe to drink. Ever notice that flight attendants rarely drink the coffee or tea on a plane? That's because the water used in these beverages comes from the aircraft's onboard water tanks, which aren't always cleaned as often as you'd think. Multiple studies have found bacteria and even traces of E. coli in airplane water, especially on older aircraft where water tanks don't get regularly sanitized. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, even found that 1 in 8 airplanes failed water safety tests due to contamination. Flight attendants often stick to bottled water, and many suggest passengers avoid drinking coffee or tea on flights, unless it's made with water from a sealed bottle. So next time you order a hot drink mid-flight, you might want to think twice. Number 4. The plane's lights dim for a reason. Ever noticed how the lights inside the plane dim during takeoff and landing? Most people think it's just for ambiance, but it's actually a safety measure. If an emergency happens during takeoff or landing, when most accidents occur, passengers may need to evacuate quickly. Dimming the lights helps your eyes adjust to the darkness, so if the plane loses power or you need to exit into a dark environment, you won't be temporarily blinded. In addition, flight attendants ask you to open the window shades for the same reason. If something goes wrong, having the shades open allows crew members and rescue teams to see inside and assess the situation faster. Number 5. The secret behind the noisy ding sounds. If you've ever flown before, you've probably heard those mysterious ding sounds throughout the flight. But did you know that they're not just random chimes? Airlines have secret audio codes that only the crew understands. A single ding after takeoff often means the plane has reached 10,000 feet, allowing passengers to use electronic devices. A sequence of high and low chimes might signal that flight attendants need to prepare for turbulence. In some cases, 3 dings in a row can indicate a serious issue that requires the crew's immediate attention. These sounds are a discreet way for pilots and flight attendants to communicate without alarming passengers. So next time you fly, listen closely. You might start to notice patterns. Number 6. Flight attendants have secret codes for problem passengers. Airline staff are trained to handle all kinds of passengers, but when someone becomes a problem, they often communicate in coded language. Instead of directly calling someone a disruptive passenger, flight attendants might use terms like passenger 13F needs extra attention, or we've got a level 2 situation. In extreme cases, such as when a passenger is behaving aggressively or posing a safety risk, the crew might discreetly inform the pilot, who can request law enforcement upon landing. Some airlines even have hand signals or specific phrases to alert other crew members about suspicious behavior without causing panic. If you ever hear a flight attendant repeating a seat number to another crew member, pay attention. It might mean that someone on board is causing trouble. Number 7. Your checked baggage might not always end up on your plane. Many passengers assume that when they check their luggage, it goes straight onto the same flight they're taking. However, that's not always the case. Airlines sometimes delay or reroute baggage intentionally to keep flights on schedule. If a plane is too heavy or there's not enough cargo space, some bags may be placed on a later flight to the same destination. That's why your luggage might not always arrive when you do, even if it was checked in on time. Additionally, airport baggage handlers often have to move bags quickly, and sometimes luggage ends up on the wrong flight by mistake. This is one of the main reasons why airlines encourage passengers to carry valuables, medication, and important documents in their carry-on, because there's no guarantee checked bags will arrive when you do. Number 8. Pilots can secretly lock themselves in the cockpit. For security reasons, modern aircraft have reinforced cockpit doors that can only be opened from the inside. If there's ever a security threat, pilots have the ability to lock the door completely, preventing anyone, including flight attendants, from entering. There is a secret emergency code that the crew can use to request access to the cockpit, but if the pilots suspect a hijacking attempt or other danger, they can override the system and keep the door locked indefinitely. This measure was introduced after past incidents of cockpit intrusions, ensuring that pilots remain in control of the aircraft at all times. However, this also raises concerns. There have been cases where pilots have locked themselves in and refused to open the door, leading to tragic consequences. That's why airlines have strict rules about 2 people being in the cockpit at all times, even if one of them is just a flight attendant. Number 9. The real reason you have to put your phone on airplane mode. Most passengers think that leaving their phone off airplane mode will interfere with the aircraft's navigation systems, but that's not the full story. In reality, modern planes are well shielded from electronic interference. The real reason airlines ask you to enable airplane mode is to prevent interference with ground networks. When a plane is cruising at high altitudes, mobile phones constantly search for signals, rapidly switching between cell towers. This can overload networks on the ground, causing problems for service providers. Additionally, flight attendants enforce this rule because airline policies require compliance with safety regulations. Even though a single phone likely won't cause problems, if hundreds of passengers refuse to switch to airplane mode, it could create unnecessary signal interference. Number 10. You can get free upgrades if you know the right tricks. While most passengers assume that getting a free upgrade to business or first class is nearly impossible, there are actually a few ways it can happen. Flight attendants have the authority to upgrade passengers in certain situations, but they usually won't do it unless there's a good reason. One common reason for an upgrade is overbooking in economy class. If the airline has oversold economy seats, they may move a few lucky passengers to business class to free up space. Passengers who dress well, are polite to the crew, or are frequent flyers with the airline have a much better chance of getting selected. Another little-known trick is checking in late for an overbooked flight. If economy is full and there are open seats in a higher class, gate agents sometimes upgrade passengers for free instead of bumping them off the flight. While airlines won't openly admit to these policies, seasoned travelers know that being friendly, dressing smartly, and having good timing can significantly increase your chances of getting a surprise upgrade. Now that you know these hidden flight secrets, your next trip might feel a little different. From pilots taking secret naps to the truth about airplane water, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes that airlines don't want you to know. If you found these secrets surprising, make sure to subscribe for more travel insights. Let us know in the comments which secret shocked you the most. Safe travels!